Are you ready?
Just remember,
Stand by.
Sometimes.
Are you ready? Stand by.
Welcome everybody to Road Grandmaster. I think we're going to end up calling this one episode 5. That way keep me in order and keep me sane when I'm researching the videos through the computer. Today we're going to talk about the classifier, the super classifier that we shot in Eaton, Colorado at the Weld County Fish and Wildlife on Father's Day. I want to start off by saying I hope everybody had a wonderful Father's Day. I know I did, and I hope you guys were out shooting. If you weren't shooting, I hope you were out just enjoying the time with your family, having a barbecue, getting all that fun quality time in, and hopefully the kids got you plenty of pocket t-shirts and garden hoses and fun Father's Day cards. There's a tradition in my house that my lady Amanda has started, that every year on Father's Day I get an ice cream cake. I'm not going to complain. I'm a fat kid and I love ice cream. So let's get started. Let's talk about the day. So it was a good day, you know, all in all. I was happy with how the day went. It could have went a lot better, you know, but even a bad day of shooting is better than a good day at most other things. So no complaints, no frustrations, not enough to discourage. So we got up, we headed up there about 7 o'clock in the morning. It was fun, good drive. We talked a lot about strategy, my son and I. We talked a lot about how we wanted to run through the stages and kind of what the goal was for the day. You know, with Aiden, his goal is just to have fun. He doesn't care about time. He doesn't care about splits. He doesn't care about any of that. He's just like, you know, I want to shoot and I want to hit an A. And if that means I take my time and I get a good sight picture, I want A's. And I want my A's so close, my double alphas so close that you can cover them with one tiny little paster. You know what? Good for him. You know, if that's the way he chooses to run it, that's the way he chooses to run it. So I talked out loud to him so I could be vocal and hear myself talk. I mean, obviously I started this YouTube channel just to talk. With what I do for a living, I sit and listen all day. So I need an opportunity to flap my gums a little bit. But anyway, I digress. We talked a lot about strategy, how the match was going to go, kind of what I wanted to do, how I was going to attack stages, you know, and my son, he's just like, well, I'm just going to go shoot it and see where I'm at when the dust settles. To be 10 years old and be able to go like that, man, I applaud him. So get to the match, get everything signed up, unload the pickup. We start doing stage walks. I believe we had 8 stages throughout the day, 2 in each bay, and we had 4 squads. It was smooth. It was great. I think total in we had, out of those 5 squads, we had 56 competitors that arrived at the match, which was surprising considering, you know, they wanted to move it to a super classifier just because historically there's not a lot of help on Father's Day to put up matches or to set stages up prior to the match. They wanted to be able to put together simple things. And what a better way to spend Father's Day than increasing your classification in USPSA, right? So anyway, there was a bunch of folks there. I was surprised, like I said, by the amount of people there. It's most people I've ever, you know, slung lead with at a match. You know, I mean, I'm used to seeing 40, 50, but you know, almost 60 folks is where we were at one point. In limited, in my division alone, there was 19 or 20 of us that shot unlimited. Thomas was there. He shot production. I don't know how many guys that were in the production class, but we had some in our squad. We had limited, myself, one of my friends, David. We'll talk a little bit more about him. You guys will get to know him later. He came in. He's just getting into the sport really good, and he came up, or he lives closer than I do, frankly, and he shot limited that day, Sunday. And then Aiden, he shot carry optics. And we had a few other carry optics guys in there, and we had some pistol caliber carbine, and we had a couple open guys. So we had a good day. You know, we had a nice, fun squad. It was smooth, no big deal. The stages we were looking at, they were, I would like to say they were a good mix of stand and deliver and motion stages where you got to go around walls and shoot around things. We had two stages where you could move. The rest of them, the other 6, were all stand and deliver. Stand and deliver is great. There's a purpose for it. I think it's definitely needs to be practiced. That's how I started learning how to shoot. But I've been away from the stand and deliver for so long that, in our club, when we do classifiers at our club, a lot of them are moving. The new style of classifier where it's a 10 round stage, with a couple pieces of steel around here, around this corner, or, whatever. It's not stand in a little box and just stand and shoot. I knew what the stage breaks were going to be or what the plans were going to be, and I tried to dry fire those, and you can only do so much with a dry fire on a stand and deliver. But it was what it was. The other 6 stages, like I said, were just a stand and deliver, and a lot of them, just based off of like the research Thomas was doing, looking, he's like, a lot of them were done in the 90s and early 2000s. So it's going to be a tall order to shoot a high class and get a high classification today, because everything's based off of the fastest guy that can do it, and they've been shooting them for 15-20 years. So their time for Grandmaster on some of the qualifiers or the classifiers, we were shooting 6s and 7 hit factors, 9s, and we were happy, like, oh man, this is awesome, that's so good. And you look at the Grandmaster time on them, they were like 12, 13, 14 hit factor, and it's like, geez, those, they shoot them enough that it becomes second nature to them. They've been through them 100 times at this point probably, so they can set these really high times. So we had that to overcome, and like I said, going in, I didn't have any inkling in the world. I had no goal of showing up there and shooting Grandmaster, Master, even an A. I would have been happy to walk out of there as a B. That's where my goal was. I didn't want to set anything too lofty. I know what my abilities are at this point, and I'm new enough in the game that there's no way I'm a master. There's no way I'm a Grandmaster. On my best day, maybe an A, but I still have a lot to go. I still have a lot to learn. There's my grip isn't there totally yet. I mean, I can shoot stages with the right grip, and then there's some stages that I don't have it, and that's it. It takes time, it takes practice, it takes determination to get there. So I was gunning for a B. The stages were good. They were laid out nicely. You're looking at yardages, you're looking at feet on a plan map, and it's like, God, that's going to be so far away. And I struggled with my Sig Sauer at shooting at range. I'm talking 20 yard poppers, pepper poppers, and 20 yard paper. I was pulling left on them, and it wasn't too much finger. It wasn't a habitual issue. Once I put a dot on it, those issues went away. But it was something in my line of sight with it, So the Tanfoglio I shoot now, that issue's pretty well gone. I've been able to mitigate it in practice. The frame of the gun's a little bit different. The grips are a little bit different, and that may have something to do with it. But once we got there, I realized, well, these aren't too far. We had one stage that, God, I think the furthest paper was almost 30 yards away. I mean, it was out there, but it was full open, no hard cover, no shoot on it. That stage was a crazy one because the closest target had to be 10 yards, and it was just the Alpha at the top, and the Charlie just around it. The rest, torso, all that was all hard cover. The next target, and there were 2 of them, one on each side. The next target down was a zebra stripe. So you had your entire upper A, and then you had the A down the center. You had 2 of those, and I think those were like 20, 25 yards. And then you had your next one, which were full open, 2 of them sitting side by side at 30, 35 yards. And you had to go down this entire row, 2 shots each on paper, reload, and then come back up or go back down, however you chose to shoot it on the next side. And then, unload and she'll clear it. So that stage was a throwaway stage. And I'll be the first one to tell you right now, I scored a big fat 0 on that stage. I mean, it wasn't, I still got hit factor, but it was like 0.0956, I think, is what the hit factor was on it for me. It was not my best stage, you know, and I think it was the last stage we shot on the day, you know, and we were there, we started shooting at 10 and we walked off the range at 350, you know, 345, something like that. So, you know, we baked out in the sun, and I knew I wasn't going to do good with it, you know, just because it was so far. That's still a discipline that I'm trying to get myself to learn. Aiden did pretty well with it though, with his dot on his 6 hour. So good for him. You know, he beat me on that stage, I believe. So all in all though, the stages were good. They were fun. Everybody had a good time. You know, I tried not to let any pressure get to me. You know, my mental game is a part that I'm weak in still. Something will happen, a shooter will get disqualified, or an RO will holler stop on a person for whatever reason. I mean, it could be something, a target fell over and they have to reset and reshoot. I hear that stop and it just, you know, as it should, it perks your ears up, but it gets in my head. And when it gets in my head, my mental game suffers after that. And that's a flaw that I have that I'm trying to work on and get better with. We didn't have that all day. We didn't have those kinds of issues, but the pressure, you know, I got there, no pressure. I'm talking, I got two of my friends there, Thomas and David. I got Aiden, my son, with me, and we're laughing and joking and having a good time. We're meeting the guys in our squad. I had never shot with any of them before, so I'm getting to meet them, and really fun, cool guys. It was neat. It was cool. Get to the first stage, and the first stage in our squad that we were sitting in was a seated position. You had 3 no-shoots in front of you. You had to sit with your elbows on X's, holding playing cards in your hands, thumb and finger, and then you were fully loaded, holstered, and when you hit the beep, then you can get up, draw your gun, and engage 3 targets along the left-hand side, reload, and then come back. And they were short. They were, I think they started at 10 and ended at 15 and then came back to 10. Did well, you know. I didn't go fast. My intention was to shoot conservatively. I knew that way before going in, way before I even decided to go shoot it, that there was no way I was going to be a grandmaster, so I'm not even going to try, you know. I'm not going to go and just completely hose the day and end up at a D. I knew I was better than that, or at least I had hoped I was better than that. So I didn't want to go in there and just, you know, go hero or zero. I really didn't. I wanted to go in there and be conservative. I wanted to take those precise and intentional shots like Thomas was coaching me to do. And that's what I did. You know, I didn't break any speed records by any means. I didn't break any accuracy records either. You know, there were some stages that I was comfortable on and I pushed because I knew that I was shooting C all day. And I knew that there were some stages here that I was comfortable with, so I pushed it and I threw shots. I mean, I had a few mics over the course of the day. I think I had 2 no-shoots over the course of the day. I'm not going to say it was a complete and total dumpster fire, but it wasn't the prettiest girl at the ball either. You know, am I disappointed in how I did? Yeah, a little bit with some of those stages, just because I got off my game plan and it showed. But I learned a lot. You know, I really did learn a lot. Every RO is different in what they look for, you know, so a new RO always makes me kind of nervous. We only had 2 guys that could RO on our squad, so they were going back and forth and you know, taking turns, and we all held scored and pasted. I mean, I don't think I scored at all, but it was fun. It was a good day. The stages, like I said, the stages were good. I know I'm kind of circling, but Aiden had a ball. He had a blast. He was shooting his own match. You know, there was at one point when we started, he's never been one to get nervous. He's just like, you know what, no. And I envy that because he's just there to have fun. He's just there to shoot. He's just there to do what he does. And that's waste money. You know, it's just poke holes. You poke very expensive holes in paper, and that's his game. And I appreciate that. The first stage he did, and it blew my mind because ever since I put him on the Legion, the X5 Legion with the Romeo 1 dot on there, he just drives nails with it. I mean, he stacks them. He's not happy unless, you know, you can cover his hits with one paster, like I said, you know, and the first stage, those targets, it was that one where we were seated holding the cards. he was shooting low. I mean, way low, like hitting dirt underneath the target 2 feet behind it. And I'm watching him, and I can visibly see that the gun is pointed downward. And I'm thinking, what's the deal? And I got my glasses, and he's wearing his sunglasses, up against his head, but the eyepieces are way up here, so the glasses are slanted. And I'm thinking, gosh, did that have much to do with it? I mean, the sight can't be off that much. So he got done shooting. We ran over to the safety area, and we took his gun out, and I looked at it. Man, the sight looked good. So we went back, told him, said, put your sunglasses down, put them back. I know sometimes it bugs your head, with your hearing protection pushing on the side of your glasses. But, we need to, at least when you go up to shoot, you need to adjust them and deal with it for that 30 seconds, 45 seconds, a minute, whatever it takes you to shoot that stage, you got to deal with it. So, told him on the next one, the scores are in, pal. There is no reshoot, so you need on the next one, this is what I want you to do. I want you to aim at the A zone, the upper A zone on the paper. And then where you hit, I'll be able to, do the MOA on it and figure out how many clicks we need to get you back on target. At least get you where you're good enough. If you aim for an A, you're going to get an A, So the next stage, he walks up there and he fixes his glasses, gets all situated, and he aims for the A, the upper A rectangle on the target, and he just nail drives it, 2 of them, right on top of each other. Goes to the next target, A zones of both. Goes to the third one, A zones of both. Aims for the top of the pepper popper and smacks them both right up top. And he shows clear, he puts it in there, and I look at Thomas, and Thomas looks at me, and what was that about? What? How did he struggle on that first stage so bad? And it was either one of 2 things. One, it was his glasses, the way he just had his glasses. I mean, the earpieces were all the way up here on the side of the head. It was really weird. Or he got nervous, and I'm not sure. I can't tell you. I need to go out and wear my glasses the way he wore those and see if that affected the dot, or if he just got nervous. If he did, awesome. That now it's starting to mean a little bit more to him. I don't want it to mean too much, just because I don't want him to be dejected if he has a bad day. But if it meant more to him, then more power. I mean, that's awesome. He's growing with the sport, and he's understanding what it takes. And he wants to chase it all the way to Grandmaster like, I do. So, he made the adjustment, and he shot great the rest of the day. Other than that, we didn't have any issues. I threw shots throughout the day. It happened. Did I learn a lot? Yeah, I learned a ton watching some of these other guys. Thomas shot conservatively, but he shot smooth. It was just poetry in motion watching him shoot. We had an open guy in there, and it was like poetry in motion watching him shoot. And he had mentioned he had his knees replaced, or 2 bad knees, and he had spinal fusion surgery, so he didn't move quick. But man, that guy, he could shoot, and he was accurate, and he was fun. He was really fun to watch. He gave me some advice on some loads for Aiden, which was cool. Actually gave us a few to try, so that was neat. He said he'd send me the recipe on them, so he could have a round that didn't recoil hardly at all, and it would still be power factor. So I thought that was really polite and really nice of him. And it's just another reason I love the sport. You're there to beat the guy next to you, but when he struggles, you give him advice, you help him, you pick him up, and they do the same for you. They take care of your kids. I mean, it takes a lot for people to trust your 10-year-old on a range with a gun, and it takes a lot for them to be okay with it. I mean, kids are kids, and it's a lot of trust. And these guys, I think on the first stage, every time they're nervous, and then they see him move, and Aiden will pull his finger out of the trigger guard just so cleanly and obviously. And when he unloads and shows clear, he's clean. I mean, he'll flag himself. He did get called for flagging. He got warned on it this time. But other than that, he's safe. He's just, and people, they take a breath and they let their guard down around him, and they say, okay, all right, he's good. He's good. I like him. I trust him. It was fun though. It was, the day was long. Like I said, we were there forever, it seemed like, but it was good. Everybody we shot with were amazing. Like I said, there was a few stages that I struggled on. A lot of the stand and deliver stuff I don't do a ton, so I should have practiced more, and that's on me. You make up any excuse you want, but you know, at the end of the day, you get the result you want because of the work you put in. I didn't dry fire enough, you know, and I dry fired some, but I didn't dry fire enough, and it showed. It really did. My goal was to show a B at the end of the match. Was to show the B classification is where I wanted to start. When the match was over, I knew I shot really conservatively on some stages, and then ones I didn't, when I rushed some shots because I knew that I was shooting C, I pushed it, and I had some mics, some deltas, and some no shoots. It wasn't by like, oh my gosh, it's terrible. It was, you know, and that's not gonna help the score. So anyway, we leave, we get done, we clean up, we head home, and I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, okay, you know, I need to work on my grip. And I do, you know, I'm not saying I have a perfect one at all, because I don't, but I need to work on my grip. I need to work on what I'm doing. I need to work on transitioning from one target to the next quicker and maintaining that sight picture. I let my front sight get away from me when I'm transitioning from one to the other, and I'll throw an errant shot. So that's something that I have to work on. Doing the stand and deliver stages were great because you didn't have to think anything more about than what you were doing, and then you could really pinpoint down where your shortcomings are, and it did for me. So classifications ran Tuesday at midnight. So I guess it was 1 o'clock Wednesday morning is what I read, but I woke up at 4 o'clock this morning, and I looked at my phone, and I didn't want to look at my phone. You know, I was thinking, man, I'm over here telling you guys about my awesome journey I'm going on here, and I'm going to come back and say, hey guys, I'm a D. Because I felt like I shot a low C, high D, you know. It just didn't feel good. You know, I was happy because I got to shoot. You know, it didn't matter what I was doing. It didn't matter in those moments. I didn't care, you know, it was whatever. I didn't care about any of it. I was just shooting. I was having a great time with my friends. My son on Father's Day, my other two were at home with their mom, and I missed them, but I was doing what I love, and it didn't matter in those moments. But it started to, and I got up, like I said, I woke up 4 o'clock this morning, I grabbed my phone, I logged into the USPSA app, and I had been tracking, or Thomas had been tracking his shots on the app and his hit factors on every stage, and you know, he's telling me what he's getting, and I wasn't shooting anywhere near Thomas level, and so I kind of knew where I was going to land. I opened up the app and I look at it, and I was pleasantly surprised that I shot and I classified as a B. I hit my goal. You know, my ultimate goal was a high B, low A, but I got a B, you know, and I'm proud of that. I really am proud of that. You know, you talk to some guys and they say most law enforcement can't even shoot a B, you know. Some military can't even shoot a B, you know. I mean, I can't speak to it. I mean, there was a military guy there and he shot great. He probably classified a C, you know, but I was really proud of that. I hit my goal. I wanted to achieve what I wanted to achieve, and I did, and it was a great feeling. And I'm surprised I didn't wake Amanda up in bed, because I mean, I was like little kid at Christmas time. I mean, like, oh my gosh, oh, it's Christmas, you know, I gotta be. You know, it's a happy report card to your parents kind of thing. You know, when you're a C, you know, a D or an F student, you know, you take a B home and it's like, yay, you know. But it was cool. You know, I was pleasantly surprised with it, and I was really happy. And you know, I'm happy with how I did. I really am. And could it be better? Heck, yes, it could be better. Will it be better? Yeah, it's going to get better. I mean, I know now what I need to work on. My mental game, my grip, my sight picture on a transition were big issues, and I know what I have to do to fix those. And now it's just fixing them. And so the road to Grand Master, I mean, it's still on track, and I was worried there was going to be a bump in it, or that road was going to be under construction for a little bit. But I think we're on a good path. I think I'm on the right path, and I couldn't be happier with where I'm sitting right now. I'm not ashamed of how I shot. I'm not ashamed to sit here and tell you guys, you know, that I shot a B. I'm not at all. You know, I shot conservatively, and I screwed up some shots, and I blew a stage, and I still shot a B, you know, and that's something that I can be proud of. And there's my launching point, you know. So now we know where we're at. So every match, As the scores continue to come in, hopefully we'll start seeing improvement. I'm going to make it my goal to see improvement. So, you know, with that, I mean, reach after it, guys. I mean, if you're afraid to get classified, go get classified. Know where you stand. At least you know where you can start, you know, and that's the biggest part of it, is that you could sit there all day long and say, you know what, yeah, I'm a good A shooter. I really am. I think that in flashes of greatness on my best day, I could be an A guy. But I know just an average day, even on a bad day, I was a B. I was a low B. But even on, you know, an average day, I'm a good solid B. And on my best days, I'm an A. And now it's just a matter of turning in those okay days and just building the consistency to make them my best days. And we're going to see that. I'm going to try for that, and I'm going to strive for that in the next coming months so we can reclassify again. And we're going to keep you updated. You know, I've had a lot of you guys subscribe to the channel. I've had some conversations with a gentleman that's been messaging me, Nebraska Gun Freak. Man, I can't wait to see you at our match here. It'd be the second weekend in July just because of the 4th of July weekend. Hope to see you here. I'm happy to see that you're contacting Big Iron Bullets. Jerry and his guys are awesome. He's going to take good care of you. I look forward to seeing what you think of those. So the rest of you guys, I appreciate it, everything, the views. Our last video has been our most popular so far by a lot, and I'm excited and I'm happy about that. So we're going to continue going, you know, and right now it's not necessarily the road to Grandmaster, it's the road to A classification, and then it'll be the road to Master and then ultimately Grandmaster. But if you guys like what you see, like I always say, you know, if you haven't already and you want to, like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Ready. Stand by.